Hey guys, happy Sunday. How's it going? I want to share a dream with you guys. I also have my Bible opened to the verse that I was led to for this dream and for this word. So this is my little traveling Bible, my little mini Bible. Y'all got one of these in the car? I don't know. Okay, maybe not. But I want to share a dream with you guys that I had in the wee hours of this morning. But I also, it's lightning, guys, over here, and it's about to pour down raining. I'm in the parking lot of the TJ Maxx, so I'm like watching. The sky is so super dark. It doesn't look like it behind me because it's starting from the front and it's moving this way, but it's about to pour down raining. But I'm sitting in the parking lot of TJ Maxx. I just had to get a new luggage because I didn't have any luggage to pack my stuff in for travel, because I literally gave all of my luggage away to people that needed it. So as I was looking in the closet today, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pack my stuff because I'm going to Pensacola, Florida for a week. I'm leaving this Thursday and I'm going to just spend time with my best friend, get away. I love Pensacola, Florida. I'm a Florida girl at heart, born and raised in Miami-Dade County. If you know, you know. But Dade County is very noisy. There's movement. It's like very chaotic. It's very comparable to Texas when it comes to the busyness of everything. But Pensacola is more chill, it's more relaxed, it's more serene. Like if you crave solitude, Pensacola, Florida is the place for you to be. You can go to the beach is never crowded, there's never any traffic. It's just so beautiful and quiet and peaceful, and I'm excited to just go there and just chill out. So I'll be in Pensacola for a week starting Thursday. But when I went to pack today, I was like, girl, what are you about to throw your stuff in? Some garbage bags? Because you don't have a luggage, you done gave it away. And I had to come and get a luggage, so that's why I'm in this parking lot. But I gave it away to people that needed luggage at the time, and it's okay. So I just went ahead and I went to go buy one. But I want to share this with you guys, and this is for people. I don't even know who this is for. This will speak to whoever it's for. But God created all of us with the desire for love, right? With the desire for love, to love. He is love. God is love. So everybody that God created has the desire to love, has the desire for love, because you were created by love. Okay. God is what? Love. Okay. So for those of you that are always quick to say, I've never been in love before. Yes, you have, because God is in you and you're in him. That's Bible. So I've literally been in love before, because God is love, and so have you. So everybody has that desire for companionship, for relationship, for partnership, to love, to be loved, to give love, right? And I'm referring to on an intimate level. Of course, we're supposed to love one another, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an intimate type of love with a partner, right? Everyone has that desire, but will everyone get married? No. Like, some people don't want to be married, and that's okay. Bible speaks on that too. Bible also speaks on the ones that want to be married, that desire it, right? But everybody has that desire to love and for love, okay? Everybody. I don't care. Maybe you don't have the desire for marriage, but everyone was created with the desire of love in the center, because you were created by love. You were created by God, right? Even those that choose to go out to the club, sleep around, do the most, distract themselves, there's still a deep longing for love. And a lot of, especially men, a lot of men will be doing the most, but it's to cover up what they truly desire, and they just don't know how to go about pursuing that. And the same for women. It's not just men, it works both ways. But anyway, that's not what this is about, and don't argue with me about that either. That is not an argument, that is facts. If you have done the work, if God has pruned you, if you've been refined, if you went through that fire of purification, and you know what I'm talking about if this is you, and you just know that you're in that season where any minute now God can open the door and that person could walk right through that door, or God could open a door for you, and on the other side of it is that person that God has for you. If you're in that season, even if you're not, I feel like you can benefit from this. But I feel like this is going to, especially the dream is definitely for somebody. I don't know who, but that's between you and God. But do not settle. Okay. I posted about how I was feeling the other day, and that post came from a conversation with one of my best friends. We were just talking about how we no longer have, it's, the word isn't patience. we don't have the tolerance for anything that's mediocre, right? If I wanted to be in a relationship right now, that's a phone call away. I could be in a relationship right now, today, at this very moment, if I wanted to, but I don't have the tolerance for anything that's mediocre. I cannot tolerate something less than God's best for me. And I feel like me waiting on God and doing what God has told me to do, mind you, this whole wait, I'm not sitting here like, okay, this is done, so send me my husband. This is done, so send me my husband. No, I actually enjoy my life. I do. I desire a partner. I desire love. I know that I'll marry again. I desire whatever God has for me, right? I desire what God has for me. I desire his will, right? But since waiting and allowing God to truly work on me, I do not have a tolerance for nonsense. I too, just like the Lord says in his word, that if you're lukewarm, he vomits you up, right? He says, because you're neither hot or cold, I vomit you up, right? And he's saying, I vomit up lukewarm. There's people walking on the side of me. It's so weird when I'm trying to record. But he says, I vomit you up, right? If you're lukewarm. I feel that same way. If something is not coming with the fire of Jesus behind it, if it's not coming with intensity, if it's not coming with zeal, if it's not coming with that, like with God's yes on it, I don't want it. Okay? And you shouldn't want it. When you get that mindset, like anything that's lukewarm, right? And when I say anything that's lukewarm, I mean the things that you're just choosing to tolerate. Like, okay, he's not everything that I asked God for, but you know, he'll do. He's okay. Or this thing checks off some of the boxes that I prayed for. God did tell me he would bring me this. This person isn't that, but it'll do. If you are that person that's gravitating towards those lukewarm promises when you know what God told you he's going to deliver, okay, you're not ready. But when you get to that point and you know what God promised you, you know the type of person, the type of love that he said he was going to deliver to you. And I'm not saying a perfect love. I'm just saying the love that's perfect for you. Okay? That conversation, those conversations, those dreams, those visions that God has given you. Is so weird for someone to be in front of me, like watching me. But those dreams, those visions, the prayers that God has literally told you, I'm going to answer you. Like, I'm going to answer your prayer. Like, this person is going to be like this. This person is going to love you like that. If the people that are presenting themselves to you are not what God said they will be, then it's not for you. You shouldn't desire that. Vomit that thing up. Vomit that person up. Anything that you vomit up, it's not connected to you anymore. Like, vomit that thing up. You shouldn't have a tolerance for that. And I do not have a tolerance for that. I don't have a tolerance for lukewarm friendships, lukewarm romantic relationships, lukewarm careers. Like, I don't have a desire for lukewarm anything. If that opportunity, if that person, if that relationship, if that connection is not on fire, and I mean backed by God's yes and just on it, I mean, like I said, it carries intensity. Like, it's coming in an intense way. It comes with zeal. Like, it's everything. Like, it's that desire, the desires that I prayed for and that God said he would answer. If it's not coming on fire, I will not accept it. And you shouldn't accept it. And if you're in a place where you're still trying to accept, or you still desire to accept lukewarm, you're not ready for a relationship. If you're looking at something and you're like, well, this is not what God says, but I've been waiting for a long time, so let me just take it. You're not ready. And I would encourage you to really ask God to search your heart and your mind, creating you a new heart and a new mind, and just start to renew things, because you're not ready. When you are ready, you won't settle, because you know what your wait was like. You know the things that you've been through. This is so weird. I feel like everyone's watching me and it's weird. But you know the things that you waited for. You know the desires. Why do people take their kids in the store with no clothes on? Like, literally, little boy is naked with just shorts. Okay, never mind. I'm not a parent, but I wouldn't do that. That just totally, yeah. You should want blessings that are hot. When God is cooking up something for you, as he's cooking up this relationship, this partnership, this marriage, this covenant for you, when he prepares that thing and he plates it for you and he gives you that plate's going to be hot. So if you're being presented with a plate and it's lukewarm, send it back. Send it back. Okay, send it back. So if you're not in a place where you're vomiting stuff up that's lukewarm, that you know, like, this does not carry the fire of God, because I know what God told me. If you're not in that place, you're not ready. You're not ready. I was at a doctor's appointment yesterday, and my doctor is very, very good looking. Like, I mean, like, he's really good looking. He's a black guy. I think he's like 6'4", bearded guy, nice smile, like all the things. But I would vomit him up. I would vomit him up. We had a conversation yesterday, and we always just talk about random stuff. And I was like, he was telling me he lost someone in his family. And I'm like, you know, I'm sorry about that. I'll pray for you. And we've talked about God before. He believes in God, but he's nowhere near where he needs to be. And his mind and his brain thinks on such a scientific like level. It just doesn't. You ever meet people? Anyway. But we were talking yesterday, and I said, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm like, I'm going to pray for you. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, I don't want to make this about religion or anything. He's like, but this is exactly why I don't go to church. He said, because if prayer could have done anything, he's like, my sister-in-law, which his sister-in-law passed away, he's like, she would still be here. He's like, so if prayer really worked, she would still be here. He's like, this is why I don't go to church. And he like walked out of the room, right? Because he had to get something. He didn't walk out because he was mad or anything. He just had to get something. And all I responded was, what you said isn't true. I said, but you know, and I was saying what he said isn't true because he's like pretty much saying prayer doesn't work because his sister-in-law passed away. And I didn't have I'm not gonna say patience. I just didn't have the energy to explain anything or minister to him, because I had done that before. Like, if you didn't hear anything I've ministered to you before, and if you haven't searched for God yourself and gave yourself a chance to get to know him, I'm not here to keep reiterating to you who God is. God doesn't need me to convince people to believe in him. That's not why we're here. That's not what makes us fishers of men, right? We're here to speak something. You can take it or you could leave it. If you choose to leave it, I'm gonna dust my feet and keep moving. God doesn't need me constantly defending him and trying to convince people of who he is. That's not what I'm here for. So I could have went deep with that conversation, you know, encouraged him and stuff. I wasn't even about to waste my time. Right? I wasn't even about to waste my time, because, sir, we've had these conversations before. Everything he's asked me when it comes to God and who God is and what do I think of certain things, like, there's no question that he's asked me about anything from the Bible that I haven't been able to answer, right? And when I tell you I've answered his questions to the T, that the answers would have made somebody be like, okay, let me go talk to God and see what this is about, because, man, that hit hard. I done all that. So I was not about to sit here and try to convince you of who God is and why you should pray and all. Child, please, he's a grown man, a grown man. Like, you went to medical school and graduated. So I know you know how to get to know God. I'm not about to, no. I just didn't have the energy. My tolerance for lukewarm I don't have it. I do not have a tolerance for it. So he asked me, you know, about dating. And he's like, so how's your dating life? Like, what's going on? I'm like, I go on dates. I'm like, but I'm not about to settle. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not settling for anything. I said, I'm not settling for less than God's best for me. I said, I can be in a relationship right now. I'm like, but I'm not settling. And I almost slipped and said, when he's like, what do you mean? Like, explain it more. I almost said, like, if you were interested in me, I would be settling if I started dating you. I almost said that. But because God has taught me how to speak with tact and you know, kindness, and to kind of scale back, right? I didn't say it, but I almost said, when he's like, what do you mean? Like he was almost asking for an example of what I was trying to say. And I almost said, you. Like, if I chose to date, if you were interested in me and I chose to date you, I would be settling. Yeah, you're tall, dark, handsome. You're a doctor. You have a great career, right? You have a good personality. But because spiritually you're not where you need to be, all you carry is knowledge. No wisdom, just knowledge. Like, you have a knowing of a lot of stuff. But you don't gain wisdom until you have a fear of God. And because that's not there, and the stupidity that comes out of his mouth, I would be settling and I would be frustrated with that relationship. So people would look on the outside and say, well, no, if you dated him, that's not settling. He's a doctor and he's tall, dark, handsome, own house, like his business is growing, all these great things. Yeah, but his relationship with God is not growing. And it's making him speak out of terms. And even though he has not a lot of knowledge, he's not very wise. You can only gain wisdom by fearing God. And in order to fear God, you have to really know who he is, right? So me dating him would have been settling. And I wanted to give that example so bad, but thank God for change. I did not. I just said, oh no, like, I'm not settling for less than God's best. I'm like, if that person doesn't come the way that I need them to come, I'm not settling. I'd rather be single. I'd rather be single. I'm not out here dating just to date. Like, you date intentionally. I'm like, I'm a wife. I'm someone's wife. I'm not about to be in a relationship. Going on dates, sure. I can go have dinner with someone as a friend and he's, it's someone of the opposite sex. Doesn't mean I'm going to just give a yes to that person and be in a relationship with them. I'm not settling. I know what God told me. I know what God is sending to me, and I'm going to stand on that, and it is what it is. I'm not looking for a perfect person, but I know exactly what God told me about who he's sending my way, and I'm going to wait on it. And God even went as far as telling me how I would know, how I would notice the person when they're standing in front of me. So because God has given me so many details, I'm not about to settle if you don't meet all of the criteria that God has presented to me. This isn't just me saying I want this, that, and the third. This is me being in relationship with God and knowing what God told me about who he has for me. So I'm not settling. If you don't look like what God said, and I'm not talking about physically, if you don't look like what God said mentally, physically, emotionally, all the things, spiritually, I don't even know if I said that, I'm not accepting it. God didn't tell me he was sending me a build-a-man. No, I'm not accepting it. I'll minister to people all day long, but I'm not going to keep doing the same thing over and over. So anyway, I just wanted to get that. That's not even a dream, but this all flows together. If you are in a wait, do not settle for lukewarm. Because what God is cooking up for you, when he is done, he's going to plate that thing. Smoke is going to be coming from that plate. That's how hot it's going to be. God is not going to serve you cold. He's not going to serve you lukewarm. When he is done cooking, that thing will be hot and ready to eat. And he did not microwave it. That's why it took a little bit longer. God has taken his time to create everything on this plate to be in alignment with what he has for you. Woman of God, man of God, do not settle. If anything, the wait has made me this way to where I will not. You know how some people, they're like, I'm overweighting. I'm just going to go out and date and do all of these things. I can't see how God would have done a work on someone and that's their mindset, because of what I went through and what God has done in my life and the way that he's molded me. I'm not about to jump in nothing. I will stay single and ride this thing out until God is ready, because I don't have the tolerance for stupidity. I don't have the tolerance to deal with the dumb spirit operating behind people, because we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, right? But against darkness and principalities in high places. There are a lot of dumb spirits operating behind people. I don't have the tolerance to deal with the dumb spirit. I just don't. I don't have the tolerance to deal with a mute spirit. So until God sends that person for me, I'm going to chill out. So to the dream, Ooh, can y'all see that lightning? What the Lord was showing in this dream is that when you least expect it, this thing is going to roll out like the red carpet. And for some of you guys, it is closer than what you think. It is closer than what you think. In this dream, I was getting ready to do a podcast. And this was like for, oh, my nose is itching. This was like for a ministry. And it was like this young man, he had long dreadlocks, long locks, and he had a podcast. And I remember sitting on the couch with him, and we were getting prepared to film this podcast. And there was other people there too, like pastors and evangelists and just a whole bunch of people. And in the dream, we were surrounded by people that were well known. Now in real life, I don't know who the people are, or who the people were in the dream. I just knew in the dream that these people were very well known, like these evangelists. There were women there in ministry, there were men there in ministry, and I knew in the dream that these people were people of a high status, not according to the world, but a high status according to God, because they've done the kingdom work. Okay, so we're sitting on the couch getting ready to prepare to record, right? And I knew, because even in the dream I was saying, okay, I'm gonna have to edit this so that I can release it to Bold for Christ so that they can see the podcast too. And as we're sitting there, me and this guy with the long locks were having a conversation. And as we're sitting there talking, preparing, that whatever we were talking about, we were preparing for this podcast. I knew that this was the person for me. Like, I knew that this was the person God had for me. And in the dream, he also knew, as we were sitting on this couch having this conversation. So he tells me, he's like, hey, give me 1 second, okay? And I said, okay. So he gets up from the couch and he walks away. And at that moment, it's like I had a magnifying glass. It's almost like my eyes zoomed to wherever he was going, even though I was still back sitting on the couch waiting for him. So as he walks away, he goes to a space by himself and he starts smiling, and he's kind of like laughing a little bit, and he just says out his mouth, he's like, damn. And when he said damn and he kind of laughed about it, I knew in the dream, right? And I'm watching him from afar. Like I said, I'm still sitting on the couch, but in the dream, it's like God gave me a zoom in vision. Hopefully you guys can hear me, because it's raining really hard. It's like God took my eyeballs and zoomed it to wherever he was. And like I said, he just laughed and he's smiling, and he just said, he's like, damn. And I knew why he was saying it. He was saying it because he knew I was the one that he was supposed to be with. And that was his way of saying, this is really happening. Like, after all this time, like, my single chapter is about to be closed. Like, I cannot believe this is really happening. And I also knew he was saying, like, I can't run from this. Like, I can't hide this. Like, this is really right here, right now. He was expecting to do a podcast, right, together. I was expecting that. But as we sat there talking, it's like God brought a knowing to the both of us that that's your person. And he, so much so, he had to walk away, because that presence and that knowing was so strong, and all he could say was damn. And like I said, I knew in the dream he was saying, damn, like, I can't run from this. This is right here, right now. It was like him saying, my single life is over. Like, everything stops right here, right now. And he had to take a moment to himself and walk away to process what God was presenting him with, to process the feelings that he was feeling. And that was the end of the dream. I don't know who needs to hear this. The guy having dreadlocks in a dream, and dreadlocks can represent so many different things, right? It just depends on the context of the dream. But he had dreadlocks to represent the strength of God. The relationship that God is sending your way will be strengthened by him. It will be strengthened by him. This is not coming together due to strength of man. Strengthened by God is what his locks represented. And God brought me back to Samson in scripture. Samson had very long locks, and his locks carried the strength of God, which is why the Lord told him he couldn't cut his hair, right? It wasn't that his hair gave him strength. It was his hair was God's glory covering him, and the strength of God ran through his hair, but he was in no way strengthened by his hair. The strength came from God. He had a supernatural level of strength. Okay? So in this dream, the Lord showed the guy with dreadlocks because God was saying, this is going to be strengthened by me. This relationship is going to be strengthened by me. It's going to be done by my might. Not by your power, but by the Holy Spirit. This is not a relationship that's going to come together by strength of man, by what man can do, by what you can do, by what I can do. This is solely going to be a relationship that's based on the strength of God. This is coming together because of the strength of God. Not by your might, not by your power, but by his Holy Spirit. And this is going to come when you least expect it. In the dream, we were being about our Father's business. We were both there for ministry. That's what we were there for. Not expecting God's presence to show up so heavily and say, that's your husband. That's your wife. Wait on God, because I don't know who else that dream is for, but God is saying it's coming when you least expect it. Allow this thing to come together on the strength of him, not the strength of you. Allow God to bring this thing together. Your wait has not been in vain, and as long as you've waited, you should. If you have that mentality, I cannot even get these words out. I'm better with writing. If you have the mentality of, oh, I've been waiting so long, I'm just gonna go out and do what I do, you're not ready. Because if you've been waiting so long and you're where you're supposed to be, you're not just going to throw in the towel and get up and go out here for some trash, because you know what you had to go through to get to this point. You know what you had to go through to get to this point. You should be able to say, I'll wait my entire life on God, because this little life here on earth is temporary anyway. Death is inevitable. We got to die one day. I'm not going to be married to who I'm married to in heaven on earth. Marriage is not a thing in heaven. You're married to God in heaven. That's Bible. Marriage isn't a thing in heaven. Procreation is not needed in heaven. That's for here. Wait on God, because he's saying when you least expect it, God is going to open your eyes. That veil is going to be lifted. And he's not going to speak it on one side. Both people involved are going to know. The both of us knew. I knew and just didn't say anything. I just kept having a conversation with him. The presence was so heavy of the Holy Spirit telling him that's your wife, he had to get up. And all he could say was, damn. And that was his way of saying, my life just shifted in a matter of moments. I'm not in a single season anymore. Like, this is my wife. Like, and he couldn't shake it, and neither could I. Allow God to make it do what it do, and do not settle. I don't care how fine that person is. I don't care what you're yearning for. I don't care if you got an itch that you need scratched. I don't care. It's been hard, yes. God cares. He cares. And I care about you too. But what I'm saying is, I don't care how long the wait has been. A day is like 1,000 years to the Lord. 1,000 years is like a day. He is not up here wearing an Apple Watch. He is the watch. He is time. Let God make it do what it do, and do not settle. I've had the chance to settle several times, just to get on here and say, yeah, hey guys, I'm dating. Hey guys, I'm engaged. Hey guys, I'm married. I'm not about to do that. I done been through too much to want that, and you've been through too much to want that. So I just wanted to share that word with you in the dream. I hope it encourages someone, because it's going to come quickly. I just had a sister in Christ that knew someone her whole entire life, right? He didn't come back around until like years later. But when he came back around, within 27 days, she was engaged. That man wasted no time. And he knew that she was his wife. He literally knew. He knew. He told her, like, I knew that I would get at you when I saw you outside, right? And that was his way of saying, I knew that when I saw you, I would approach you, right? And he knew this before they even reconnected. He knew. I think she said he had been watching her post on social media or whatever the case may be. He was watching. But it was a matter of God's timing, the right timing. 27 days later, she was engaged. So, wait on God. Because for some of you guys, that wait is very short. What you have left is very short. So, I opened my Bible when I got in the car before I clicked play to record this word. And it opened up to Song of Solomon, chapter 6. I'm going to read from verses 4 through 10. Okay, 4 through 10. And this is praise of the Shulamite's beauty, right? So this is pretty much the man speaking to his bride, to his love, okay? And it says, "Oh, my love, you are as beautiful as Tirzah, lovely as Jerusalem, awesome as an army with banners. Turn your eyes away from me, for they have overcome me." Come on, that is so. Turn your eyes away from me, for they have overcome me. This man had to get up from sitting next to me in a dream. Turn your eyes away from me, for they have overcome me. Your hair is like a flock of goats going down from Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of sheep which have come up from the washing. Every one bears twins, and none is barren among them. He's saying she got a pretty smile. Y'all better get your smile together. Like a piece of pomegranate are your temples behind your veil. There are 60 queens and 80 concubines and virgins without number. That's his way of saying, girl, you're up there. There can be many women in a room in front of me, but you excel them all. What does Proverbs say? Many have done well, but you excel them all, okay? My dove, my perfect one, is the only one of her mother, the favorite of the one who bore her. The daughters saw her and called her blessed, the queens and concubines, and they praised her. Who is she who looks forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, awesome as an army with banners? That's it. That's all for this word, y'all. I'm about to hop up off here. I don't think I'm about to drive nowhere because this rain is really doing its thing, and I'm not about to drive in this, so I'm gonna sit here for a minute. But I love you guys. I pray that this word blesses who it's for. I pray that you have a good Father's Day. I know some are grieving today because of their fathers not being here, so I hope you have a blessed day as well. I love you, and we'll talk soon. Bye.